Good morning and good evening. Welcome to the 116th USC event. I'm April from USC. Welcome audience in Zoom and live streaming platforms of USC graduate education. Coming up to our last and great event in this August, we are so excited to bring you an information session about Masters of Science in Social Entrepreneurship program from USC Marshall School of Business. You will learn more about the program updates and ideas of social entrepreneurship in the following 1 hour. For our guest speakers today are Professor Jill Kickul, the Academic Director of Masters of Science in Social Entrepreneurship Program and Research Director of Brittingham Social Enterprise Lab at USC Marshall School of Business, and JJ Lee, the Program Director of Masters of Science of Social Entrepreneurship Program. And also, we send more welcome to our alumni, Fei and Zoe. And after Professor Kickul and JJ's presentation, we will open to audience for questions, and I will also help to convert questions from live streaming to the Zoom room. And the webinar will be recorded and might be used as video material. So please kindly mute yourself during presentation for a good event quality. And okay, without further ado, and again, let's join me to welcome our speakers, Professor Kickul and JJ.
Thank you so much, April. It is a pleasure to be here today. My name is JJ. And as April mentioned, I am the director of the MSSE program. We're going to call it MSSE because our program name is so long. I oversee the recruitment, admissions, and advising for the MSSE program. So, if and when you join the program, I will be with you through the whole time and be your support in the program. So first, I wanted to play a short YouTube video for you. This was a project from one of our classes that our student made, and I just thought that it was a very good video to share with you all. So we will start with the video first.
欢迎来到南加州大学。Welcome to the University of Southern California. Fight on! 疫情期间，请大家戴好口罩，注意安全。我在马歇尔商学院读社会企业学专业。许多朋友都对于我的专业感到好奇。的确，社会企业学这个专业对大多数中国国际生来说都是比较陌生的，因此我决定用中文来给大家讲一下我这学期所学到的东西。首先，什么是社会企业？社会企业是个人、团体、初创公司或企业家，他们在其中开发、资助和实施针对社会、文化或环境问题的解决方案。许多人会好奇什么是社会企业家，在这里我想引用马丁和奥斯伯格的一句话：社会企业家是以不幸但稳定的平衡为目标的人，该平衡会导致一部分人的忽视、边缘化或痛苦。他或他的灵感来自于这种情况。直接行动、创造力、勇气和毅力和谁在最终影响建立新的稳定平衡，从而确保目标群体和整个社会获得永久利益。社会企业家在教育、卫生、环境和企业发展等各个领域推动社会创新和转型。在这个学期，我还学习了一个非常重要的概念，叫交易。交易是一种情景性决策，包括减少或失去某一种质量、数量或特性，以换取在其他方面的收益。举个例子， Old School Cafe 是旧金山的一家晚餐俱乐部，它的社会使命是帮助有危险的年轻人，培训他们成为主持人、服务员、厨师和艺人。然而，这种业务关系是建立在信任和社会目标的基础上的，也伴随着非常高的风险。年轻人易变、情绪化、喜怒无常，背景也不稳定。Old School Cafe 的老板无法预测一个特定的人会对企业的发展产生积极还是消极的影响。好的，以上就是我在本学期所学的一些知识。Fight on!
So that was Yang Ri Zhang from cohort 7 that created this. This was actually during the pandemic, which is why he was wearing a mask. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed that and hope that explained a little bit about social entrepreneurship. We will talk more about social entrepreneurship during our presentation. At this time, I would like to introduce our academic director and professor in the program, Dr. Jill Kickul. And yeah, well, I'm going to pass it on to you, Jill.
Yeah, thank you, JJ. Welcome, everybody. Good afternoon, evening, good morning to many of you. JJ is amazing. If and when you come to our program, you get a chance to interact with just a world-class individual. We love you, JJ, and it's so great to have you as her new title as director of our program. As mentioned, I'm Jill Kickul. I am the academic director of the MSSC program, and I oversee pretty much most of the academic components of the program, in which we look at classes and the type of classes that you're interested in taking. We really try to customize our program around social entrepreneurship and innovation and impact. Even if you don't even have a business or a venture that you want to start, you can come to our program and really learn the skills and the knowledge and the experience to really innovate within an existing company and really be what we call social entrepreneurs and innovators. So don't worry if you don't have that idea, that first idea, but coming to learn the mindset and the business skills to really drive social change and impact in communities, whether it's here or abroad or at home within your own communities. So looking forward to some of your questions later on today, but you're going to meet some amazing alumni who came through our program and who are doing amazing work in their own right, in their own organizations and ventures. JJ, would you like to share the screen of the slides? That would be great. Right, wonderful, thank you. All right, and our tagline a little bit around MSSC is be in the business of change, and we really hold this to heart in terms of you come to a USC Marshall, which is a top-ranked business school, and you learn kind of the foundation and the bedrock of business skills that further enable you to really think about the impact that you can create, not only with your own career, but with the career of others too as well. All right, next slide. So we are based at the University of Southern California, which is one of the largest private institutions in the country, in the US. We have almost over 50,000 students. We are housed in the Marshall School of Business, which is also a top-ranked business school. We've been for a number of years. We have just really well-known faculty and also alumni who come through our program, through our multiple programs that we have, not only from MSSC. And also when you come here, you get a chance to interact with the faculty, of course, the wonderful staff that we have, but also get a chance to interact with a number of different programs that we do have housed out of the Marshall School of Business. And then also within the MSSC, if you join us, we are also within the Brittingham Social Enterprise Lab, which is essentially all our co-curricular activities that we have, everything from our scholars program to our lecture series that we have that you can attend, to our conference. We're coming up on our 20th annual Social Entrepreneurship Conference. 20 years, can you actually believe it? So social entrepreneurship has definitely been around. Just with all of our different, we just came back, JJ and I just came back from our happy hour that we hosted. So we really are at the center of USC. We are the hub of all things social innovation and impact. We'll talk a little bit more about how we define social entrepreneurship. There's a multiple of different ways that we define that. But we'll walk through in terms of the overall program overview. JJ will also be talking about admissions. If you are interested, what are the first steps that you may want to take? some of the frequently asked questions, which some of our alumni also too can chime in and talk a little bit further about. And also they will be talking about the student experience if you do come. All right, next slide. So, in fact, just to kind of give you, how long have we been around? We just welcomed our 10th year, our 10th cohort, if you will. So it's been really amazing to be a decade-long program for MSSC. So why USC and why the MSSC program? So certainly at the foundation bedrock of what we do is striving for academic quality. And I think we do this in multiple ways. Really thinking at the cutting edge of social entrepreneurship and innovation, how we can learn from each other, but also, gain insights in terms of what is happening out there in the field. Where is social entrepreneurship coming together in terms of really analyzing some of the most, societal's most pressing challenges and problems. And we know they're out there, and our students are tackling them, head first. While they're in the program, as well as when they leave the program too, as well. We have almost over 100 research centers and institutes at USC too, as well. So many faculty doing and staff doing cutting edge research. I head is one of my titles as the research director, head a research scholar group. So if you're interested in doing some research, you definitely want to connect with me. And you'll hear from some alumni who have done that too as well. Wonderful world-class faculty, can't say enough about them. You'll get a chance to interact with faculty from multiple departments, not only within, of course, entrepreneurship, but within finance, accounting, strategy. So you get a chance to really learn from first-rate professors that come from a multiple of disciplines and learning perspectives. We represent over 135 countries around the world. I think that's one of the top universities here that do that. So we're relatively very, very diverse. And also community involvement. You have a chance to actually work with and do externships in the program or do internships with social enterprise or impact organizations. So it's not all about the learning within the classroom, but certainly the learning outside of the classroom that you can get involved in. We are the heart of LA, Los Angeles, a lot of different resources, really a dynamic city, from everything from media into sports. And so, but we have a very, very vibrant social innovation community too, as well. You'll hear this often from, if you talk to any alumni, they'll talk about how strong our Trojan family is. And these are people who are mentors, who are advisors, who really kind of want to give back after they leave USC, to really kind of give you kind of another perspective and give you resources and contacts and really help out. The network is just simply tremendous. And then also, when you're in the program too, as well, the graduate students, we have our own student association, the MSSEASA. And they do a multiple of different events above and beyond even what we offer in the lab, in the Brittingham Social Enterprise Lab. So you certainly want to get involved in everything that they're actually doing. They're everything from career events that they're doing, from networking events, training events, things like that. So a lot of different ways and different whys of you should join USC and the MSSC program. So we're centered in the Marshall School of Business. We're, just to kind of give you an idea, we've been founded since 1920, so we've been around for quite some time. Again, just talking about we're located in LA, just a vibrant metropolis. It's a gateway also, as you well know, to the Pacific Rim. And really, we talk a little bit about, we're connected to Silicon Beach. It's really a global kind of hub for entrepreneurial thinking and strategy. And also, Marshall School of Business, we are a top ranked program. We're at the forefront of innovation, new ways of looking at how we develop learning and pedagogy for our students, and really a cutting edge curriculum that really thinks about what is next and what are the next tools and skills that the next generation of social innovators and entrepreneurs need to know. And again, mentioning the Trojan family, 90,000 strong. It's a pretty good network, a lot of connections, friends, colleagues, business partners that you'll be connected with, not only within the classroom through guest speakers and live cases, but also, pretty much that connection for the rest of your life. And also the people that you also meet within your own program. I'm sure some of our alumni can talk a little bit about the connections and the friendships that they've made along the way in their own programs. All right. So I leave you with kind of what is social entrepreneurship, multiple dimensions. But looking at in terms of how do we, and this is how we look at our curriculum and how we build out our classes and our skill sets for students. But it's really about designing, launching, and running a mission-driven, that's very, very important, impact-oriented, but also income generating. So we want social enterprises and impact organizations to really think about how we can create a revenue model, how we can create income, basically that sustains the organization so that they can actually create that long-term sustainable impact. And we also look at for-profit and also nonprofit businesses, even hybrid models too as well. If you come here, we'll talk a little bit about what a hybrid organization too is as it mixes both for-profit and nonprofit. Okay. And then finally, I'll turn it over to you, JJ, to kind of go through the program overview.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Dr. Kickul. So the program is the first of its kind at a U.S. business school. So you might find, some social entrepreneurship classes that may be housed in their social work school or public policy, but we are housed in the business school at USC. We are a 30-unit program, 11 classes. And in your classes, you will have readings, case studies, speakers that will come, exercises and assignments in your classes. For international students, you are able to do the 1 or the 1.5-year program, so either 12 months or 18 months. Our classes are held in the evenings and on Saturdays. So during the day, a lot of our international students will be working part-time on campus or, be doing some other things, getting involved in some of the organizations. Most of the classes will have group projects, so you have a chance to meet people in your cohort and also, in some of the other graduate programs when you take the Marshall electives. So this is what a full-time 1-year program looks like. So this is again June to May, so 12 months. Everybody starts together with these 3 classes in the summer. The first one that you take is called Social Entrepreneurship, and you get a background on the different models of social enterprises and what social entrepreneurship means. You learn the basics of accounting, in the accounting concepts and financial reporting class. And then you have a corporate finance class to finish off your summer semester. Then in the fall, you will take a feasibility class where you learn how to take an idea for a product or a service and run it through a feasibility process. You learn the basics of marketing and marketing management. And then you learn about human-centered design in social innovation design. And then you take an elective from the Marshall School of Business. In the spring semester, you take a strategy class to learn about competitive advantage. And then there's our social entrepreneurship class, Design, Develop, and Deliver, which brings everything that you've learned together, and actually you learn how to execute and implement your idea. There's also an Investing in Impact Ventures class that's offered in the spring as well, and then you take your final elective. If you decided to, one of the options that we do offer for our students is that you could take, 1 or 2 more electives. So the courses that are italicized can be substituted with an elective, although we do highly, highly recommend that you take these classes, which is why I have them listed here. So the full-time, part-time, the 18-month, 1.5-year course plan is almost the same as the full-time, except those 2 electives that you were taking each in the fall and spring is moved to the summer or fall semester. So this is actually the most popular course plan for international students. So you would be taking the summer, most of the students will start in June and then finish in December the following year. So usually what students can do is in the summer, they will find an internship and apply for something called curricular practical training, CPT, and then have an internship in the summer and then come back in the fall, finish up with 6 units. Our program is not STEM certified, but you can still do OPT, optional practical training, after you graduate, which most of our students do take advantage of, and then they'll stay for 1 extra year after they graduate from the program. These are some of the electives that we offer. As you can see, they're very diverse. There's so many that you can choose from, so it really depends on how you want to customize your program. And you can always get advice from our students and from faculty on what electives might be the best fit for you. So who are we looking for in the program? We want people who are really passionate about figuring out solutions to these big problems in the world, and people who want to gain the business skills and education to make that change. We don't require work experience, so if you've just graduated from your undergrad, that's okay, and you can still apply. Our students range from having 0 years of work experience all the way to 30 years or 30 plus years of work experience, and then everybody in between. So we are very diverse in terms of work experience. We're also diverse in terms of undergrad disciplines. So you don't have to have majored in business or anything business related to apply to this program. We have students that majored in all different disciplines. So you can, apply if you are passionate about making a social impact. We also have a handful of students that are changing their careers. So, students that might have been studying one thing and working in one field and decide that they want to transition to social entrepreneurship. So the admission requirements include an online application that is going to open tomorrow. In the online application, you need to provide all your transcripts from your undergrad degree, 1 letter of recommendation from somebody who can say about you, your passion for social impact, and why you'd be a good fit for the MSSE program. A professional resume, and then a short essay question that answers the question, how would this degree help you to achieve your professional goals? After you submit the online application, you will get an invitation to an online interview where you will answer some questions, and it's recorded and you can do it on your own time. The great thing is we don't require a GRE or GMAT, so you don't have to worry about a GRE or GMAT, but we do require scores. So we accept TOEFL, IELTS, the Pearson test of English. And for the TOEFL, our minimum is 100 with a 20 in each section. And then our IELTS minimum is a 7 with a 6 in each band. So those are the English test score requirements that we have. We want to make sure that we set you up for success. So your English is really crucial to that. So we want to make sure that your English is proficient enough for you to be successful in our program. So again, our applications will open tomorrow, and our first deadline is December 1st. And we really encourage international students to apply by December 1st so that all your immigration documents can be processed in time. Our program starts in June, so we want to make sure that you would be ready to enter the US. If you're unable to apply by the first deadline, then I think as close to the first deadline as possible would be best. But please reach out to us and let us know that you do plan on submitting an application after, so that we can kind of give you a little bit more guidance on timing. If you're already in the US on a student visa, you can apply after December 1st. And again, you can reach out to us to share with us your individual so that we can advise you as appropriately. So some of the frequently asked questions that we get is, well, what can I do with the MSSC degree? Our alumni go into various industries and sectors, and I've listed some of these that our alumni have gotten into. About 25%, 25 to 30% of our students will start their own businesses, and the other majority will go into already existing organizations. So the logos here are some of the businesses that our students have created. One example that I can share with you is Gifts for Good. Good was founded by 2 of our alumni who actually met in the program, and the reason why they created this was that you know, a lot of companies will have swag, so gifts for their customers or their employees. And what the founder found was that, you know, a lot of these items end up in trash and ultimately in landfills. So what she did was she partners with different nonprofits, and every gift or item that you buy, whether it's for your employees or clients, or, you know, just a family member or friend, goes to a certain social impact. So that's one example of an organization that our alumni founded. So a lot of our students aren't sure, you know, if you want to start your own business, or if you're not ready to start your own business or join into an already existing organization. And that's okay. You can come to our program whether you fit in one or the other category. We have a social entrepreneur in residence who can advise you on any venture support and advising on all steps of the process. So this person will have had experience starting their own social enterprise and can kind of guide your path and help you to identify some opportunities. And they can just kind of help, you know, talk you through, you know, your idea. If you are not going to start your own business and you want to go into a career instead, we do have a career strategist who is dedicated just to our students from the Marshall Graduate Career Services Office, and they can guide you on the career part, help you with your resume and interview skills. A lot of our international students will use this support in order to find something for OPT after graduating. Or if they decide to return to their country, our Marshall Graduate Career Services Office also has a liaison that has connections in China. Professor Kickul mentioned the MSSC Student Association. And the Student Association provides, outside of the classroom, a lot of these opportunities. Excuse me. So some of the events that the Student Association offers are mixers, guest speaking events, networking events, career development, and they're just there to support the academic journey of the MSSC students. And it's also a chance for you, if you wanted to get involved in the board to, you know, help organize these kinds of events, you could also get involved as well. These are some of our contacts, and I think we can share these slides with you for your reference as well. We are on social media, so if you are able to check us out, you can see what our students are up to and what the lab is up to on these platforms. So without further ado, I'm so grateful and excited to have two of our alumni here with us tonight. And I'm really excited that we have two from different cohorts. One is from cohort 2, which, if we mentioned we have cohort 10. So it's really amazing to see someone from cohort 2 and hear your story, Zoe. And then we have Fei, who is from cohort 9, right?
I'm from cohort 8.
You're cohort 8. I'm sorry, Fei. So cohort 8. So we have Fei from cohort 8, Zoe from cohort 2. We just welcomed cohort 10. You would be a part of 11 if you joined us next year. So to have Zoe and Fei, thank you so much to the two of you to joining us tonight. If we can start off by you sharing with us just, why you chose the program, maybe what you were doing before the MSSE, and what you're doing now. That would be great. Great place to start, and then we can take some questions. So Fei, since you are unmuted, let's start with you.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Great to meet you again. I'm from cohort 8. Well, I was the so-called career pivot in this program. So before the MSSE program, I was working in a architecture design firm plus consulting firm in China, and I was working as a partner and also as a director for the R&D department. So after the MSSE program, I'm still keeping doing this position, but I'm exploring other directions for me and also my firm. So that is the transitioning for me from the MSSE program. Well, as for why I choose this program is because I'm always interested in social innovation. I'm always passionate for social entrepreneurship because I believe that everybody deserves a job or deserves a career or deserves life that is worth living or that is purposeful. So I started off my career in sustainability industry. So I give consultants, I give education to kids in the rural areas about a lot of interesting things related to sustainability. And after that, I'm drowned in the social innovation and inspired by the stories and also inspired by their cause. So when I decided, okay, this is a career path for me to think about what I can do and what I wanted to do with my life, the first thing that popped up in my mind is that I have to do something with social entrepreneurship. And MSSE is the only program that is provided in the United States and also housed in a business school. And this is very, very tailored to my dreaming program. So I want to be surrounded by a bunch of young social entrepreneurs, young social innovation passionates to give me ideas, to inspire me. So this is the reason that I chose this program, and I'm glad I did.
Thank you so much, Fei. Zoe, how about you?
Hi, JJ. Okay, so what is the topic about? Is about why I'm starting this program and my journey after a while, right?
Yes, that'd be great.
So I'm gonna be really honest about everything. Okay, so here comes the funniest part. So I didn't major in business. So for my bachelor's degree, I majored in communication. And after I graduate, I'm a journalist for a couple of years. So I was thinking like to go in studying abroad. The first option, I'm very sorry to say that, but it's Edinburgh. So I'm trying to apply for Edinburgh, like for communication or for PRs. But at that time, so I failed around 7 times about the GRE or GMAT at the time it is required. So I'm not that like a standard of the requirement of Edinburgh communication program. So I'm searching desperately because USA is my dream school at that time. Because social entrepreneurship, I'm the second cohort. So our program was the second year. So I barely heard anything about those programs yet. But I really, really want to go to USA. It is my dream school. So I started like crazy searching. So which program might take me? So I did my mentions. So we did not require GMAT at that time. So I said, wow, nobody knows any information about this. Maybe take advantage of it. So I applied it and it was super surprisingly, I got admitted. So I spent about 2 years here. And as I mentioned, since our program are all like nighttime class, so I did lots of like non-paid internship because at that time we're not allowed to work outside. But I don't want to do like on-campus jobs. So I do lots of volunteering internship like outside, like for education company, for school acquisition, different kinds. I don't have a very clear path of what I'm really interested about, what I'm really passionate about. I just want to explore different kind of possibilities. So after 2 years, I graduated, and the first thing that came up to me is that I need to maintain my visa. So I'm international student, which means I only have 1 year OPT. I need to get some employee who is willing to sponsor me, and then I can get a chance to stay here. And I start job seeking. And I don't mind what position it is offering as long as it's supporting, like sponsoring my visa. And I got very lucky. I got chosen and I got approved by the H1B. And at that point, I started to really thinking about my passion. And I took back all our notebooks and our cases. And I think maybe we should try to do something like I do have passion about. So after that, I started my educational like startup. I just shoot an email to Professor Kickul, and about our program, about our company, it's called EVA Pro. So that is to say, we are trying to provide the Chinese or Asian American community of all the great learning opportunities. We partner with over like 30 universities in China and also lots of top tier universities in here, United States. And the funniest thing is that this July, about this past summer, we have the social entrepreneurship summer program for high school students, for a high school in China. And we bring in about 10 high school students in the USA campus. We introducing them about social entrepreneurship, and we take them to the site touring, and I'm trying to share what MSCG has taught me. So I'm pretty excited about finally have this like opportunity to share this opportunity and to reconnect of all our like fellow children's. So for someone might be interested in this program, should you have any question? Because I've been gone very far away. I applied to a different program, I got rejected, and I pivot my like application, like I changed the recommendation letters, I changed my personal statement, and also I tried at least 4 internship during my like study in USC, and I worked for someone. And I start my own company, I apply to my visa, and I sponsor others. So should you have any questions, just we can be very honest. Just go directly to us, and I'm very glad if I can help.
Wow, Zoe, I'm so glad to have met you today. I started my career with MSSC. I think it was cohort 6, cohort 6. So I missed you, but wow, what a great story. And you have directly started your own company. So that is just very representative of what our alums can go into. So it's nice to connect with you here, and so excited to follow up as well. Thank you so much for sharing. April, I think we're ready to take some questions for our for any of us really, if our audience had questions for either Zoe or Feifei or me or Dr. Kickul.
Yes, thank you, JJ, and also thank you, Dr. Kikkul's presentation and to inspiring alumni sharing their story. And yes, let's check out our live streaming platform first. And for the for the Zoom audience, you also can type your questions in the Zoom chat box. So I've got, yes, many audience coming. They are very interested in USC Marshall School. And I've got some questions about the program first. One audience asked about when they are research the master's program in the business field. I think many students have this situation also. He asked about what is the difference between social entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship in general for the master's program.
I can take that. You all. So really, you know, and we do at USC Marshall. We also do have a entrepreneurship and innovation program, but it's the difference is, while we're all pursuing, you know, ventures or innovation within existing organizations, the core piece of social entrepreneurship is how do we create value around impact? And impact can be so many different ways of how we look at it. It could be social impact, it could be environmental or cultural impact. But really the bottom line is having people with the passion and the interest, the enthusiasm to really create change and have that impact for a societal problem or an issue that certain people are, that many people are looking at and want to change within their own communities, but society as well. So really the one word is all about impact.
Thank you, Dr. Kickul. And the next questions following is relates to this question is, what is the difference for the Marshall School has another program called Innovation and Entrepreneurship. So when the applicants thinking about this kind of program, so what is the difference between them?
Yeah, again, it definitely is all about how we create that social value and how we create change around impact. And so I think I kind of answered a little bit on the first part too as well. So, well, you know, the entrepreneurship and innovation is really about all profit driven without the mission. We are both about the mission and also gaining profit to be able to create that impact and change for communities and for society.
Okay, thank you. And next questions is about the start of the program date. And I think some of our audience is fresh graduates and they want to plan to start their master's program after they graduate from the bachelor degree. The MSc SE program starts from summer. So although it's not required about the work experience, but some of our fresh graduates are still worried about if they don't have work experience and what they can do for getting the offer for that.
Yeah, I can answer that one. You know, as I mentioned, work experience is not required, but, you know, when you add in your resume, you want to add, you know, you want to put some of the experiences that you may have had in your undergrad, whether they be, you know, volunteer experiences or summer jobs that you've had, or roles that you had in your university. So definitely in your resume, you should add things that you've done in your university life that's outside of the classroom. Our start term is usually the second weekend of June. So the orientation starts on a Saturday and Sunday, the second weekend of June, and then classes start the week after that. So it would be the second weekend of June is the start.
Okay, thank you, JJ. And the next question is about the tuition when they plan for the one-year program, and also if they want to stay longer to like 1.5 years or 2 years for the program, and what is the tuition would be like?
Yeah, so the tuition is estimated at about 70,000 for the program. The program is 30 units. And whether you do it in 1 year or 1.5, the overall amount usually is similar because it's charged by the unit. Every fall, USC will raise their fall unit price by a little bit, so it might change there. And then the other added expense would be your living expenses. So if you're only staying for 1 year versus 1.5, you have to have consider the 6 months extra of living expenses that you'd have to have.
Okay, thank you. The next question is from our audience who failed in the interview in the past for the MSSE program as an international student in China. And he asked about if he wants to apply again and what is the advice for him for the interview.
Yeah, I think the interview for us, is a key component of our admission process. We want to make sure that you're the right fit for our program. One of the unique things about our program is the community that you're joining of this fellow students. Everyone is very passionate about social impact and just helping each other out. And so when we, when we are looking at an applicant, we look at what you've submitted in your application as well as the interview. So it's a holistic review of the applicant. So I'm not sure if, for that applicant, that you failed the interview. We were looking at everything that you've submitted. I would say, any advice I can give on the interview is, I think the first thing is that your English has to be proficient. So if you're still working on your TOEFL, you're still working on your English language skills, I think once you feel comfortable speaking, then that would be when you can apply. And especially with the interview, you're speaking and you're recording yourself. So if you, aren't able to express what you want to say because your English skills aren't there, then, that's kind of something that we look at. In those cases, you could always apply to the USC International Academy in terms of English preparation so that, you can get that preparation before you start the program. So so I think first thing is the English part. The second thing is, make sure that you, that you want to do social entrepreneurship. Some of the students might answer in the interview that they're looking to become a consultant or they want to work in finance. And so when we hear that, that just shows us that you're not in the right program, because then you might be looking for another program that might be a better fit for you. So I would definitely, the second advice would be to make sure that social entrepreneurship is what you want to do.
Thank you. And next questions, the audience asked about what is the scholarship opportunities for the new students.
Okay, so those are, wow, lots of questions for us in the program and not for our alums. So for our scholarship, we are a very small program, and so we have limited scholarship money. And it's to be honest with you, it is tough for us to provide scholarships for international students. Although we do and have provided scholarships, they're very, very limited. So we would recommend, students looking for outside scholarships that are available or outside funding.
Thank you. And for the info session today, we mentioned cohorts many times, and many of our audience don't quite understand about what cohort means. And like if our alumni in different cohorts, and like how many students in every cohort, and would you introduce or explain a little bit further about cohort?
Yeah, I can start, and then I'm going to ask maybe Fei or Zoe to jump in on their experience in a cohort. But a cohort basically means a group of students that are starting the program together. So as I mentioned, we welcomed our cohort 10 this summer, which means we have, this is our 10th year. So the cohort, everybody starts together in the summer semester. Usually we have about 35 students in each cohort. And the great thing is that, you know, when you stay for that 18-month period, which is what usually our students do, you get to meet the cohort before you as well as the cohort after you, because you're going to overlap a semester or two. So it's a great way to increase your community and networking. And we have, you know, the other great thing about our program is that you have an opportunity to meet a lot of students from the US and from other countries. And, you know, that's the great thing about, you know, coming to our program. You will have the opportunity to meet students from other countries. And if Feifei or Zoe can comment on their experience and their cohort, that'd be great. I'm going to pass it on over. Zoe?
Of course. Yeah. So, speaking of the cohort idea, I think the one thing we should mention about the children network, because we always, when we come into the real program, you're gonna learn one thing is about the positioning. And I would say that USC is known for providing the best network to its alumni or to the current students. So for cohort, it means to me like you can always get a chance to connect. For example, I graduated at least for like 5 or like 8 years, I don't remember. I still got tons of emails about those network, about those like catch up, like all the events, and also including this one that we are in trying to be engaged of all the like school events, which is a great way for international students to expand your social network. Because everything is about networking. You need to find a job, go networking. You need to fund your own startup, go networking. You want a funding, you go on a scholarship, or you want a partners, or you want to dating someone. It's all about getting to know like new people. So I think USC, and especially for the MSCC, always trying to connect each other and providing the supportive environment for us.
Great, thank you. Feifei, anything to add there?
Yeah, I just want to add, apart from the network is the cohort. I think the concept derived from YC, Y combination, right? Y Combinator. So it was like, if you want to start a company and you are chosen to be in that cohort, and you network with the people in that cohort very closely. And sometimes you play with your ideas, you play with your pilot project and get feedbacks from the other members in your cohort. And that is the experience that I got from my cohort. So we discussed something like, I got a lot of ideas from other classmates, fellows in my cohort, and we discuss a lot of what we are passionate about, what are the ideas for their startup, and that feels wonderful. And to be honest, I envy you guys who listen to this info session, because if I had the chance of listening to this info session, well, I was selecting which program that I want to be in. That would be wonderful. Like, this is really helpful.
Thank you. And we also got questions for our alumni from Zoom. And she asks about, could you please, Zoe and Feifei, could you please share your best experience in this program and any suggestions from your views for the new applicant?
Okay, so for me, I would say that the most attractive thing about this program is that we always talking about those social mission impact, but in the meanwhile, we are very realistic like group of people. I would say that unlike those like dreamers, we're always thinking about what we value and what we achieve, that we always asking funding for our social missions. But in our program, we are really realistic about how we can make our own money to support our startup or the company we work or our lifelong journey, how the mission can be self-funded. So that thing attracts me most, because it is my opinion that if you always rely on money or government funding, it won't last for a long time. So that is why we're always trying to say, what is our revenue? What's our like gross profit? The first two class, when I joined the MSCT is accounting and finance. So we all know that money matters. And we are very realistic. So I think our idea was more like possible to be applied to the real world. And also for the, I still remember there are courses really interesting about a founder's dilemma or something. We're not reading like a bunch of like textbooks. Like we did not learn a lot of theories. We did not write a lot of papers about those academic sites. We read cases. And we are putting in the real like situation. For example, if your partner get pregnant, are you gonna find a new one? Are you gonna wait a new year? So those problems are really interesting idea I never thought about. So when I read in those cases during the classes, I put myself in the situation of really like as a founder or as a first peer employees, we put ourselves in the role and we're thinking what's our decision. And after our discussion in the class, the professor gonna share with the results. So what's the results of that story? What's their choice? If they made a different one, what's the result gonna be? So I think that's really like teaching philosophy and also about those like classroom environment. You're always thinking about the problem in the realistic, and you're always trying to serve that at the real case study. So I would say that we are a group of people with dreams that get our hands really, really dirty, and I love them very much.
Well, my best moments, my best experience would be, I can recall there are a lot of China perspective from our program. Like I remember very clearly, Professor Kickul shared the Alibaba case. And
you were Jack Ma.
Yes, that
You
was,
remember you were Jack Ma?
yes.
And you renamed Alibaba, didn't you?
Yes, I did that. China perspective. We can talk about like Foxconn and the relationship with Apple and what are the right way of doing business, not only in China, but also globally, because we are living in a very interconnected world. And sometimes, you know, you have all the supply chain, not only in China, in Southeast Asia, in Turkey, in Africa, how you manage that and how you make sure that all the stakeholders are treated properly. So we had a lot of case study like this, and it's not only from the American perspective, it's from global. And I enjoy having a lot of China perspective. So just to add on what Zoe shared.
Thank you, Jack Ma. Sorry. You did the classic role play. It was great. That's one of my favorite experiences when we do the role plays, but you did it great in bringing the perspective.
We should continue doing that cohort after cohort.
Yes, and the audience also very interested about the Brittingham Social Enterprise Lab, and like our alumni, and do you have experience in this lab, or the audience want to know more information about the Brittingham Social Enterprise Lab, and can students has internship opportunities at this lab also?
Yeah, as I dropped a little bit into the chat there, but we don't have internships per se in the lab itself, although we do hire MSSC student as student workers to help us with our various programs. But I think not necessarily do you want to have an internship within the lab. We would like to connect you with social enterprises around LA, and there are a plethora of different organizations. And for you to get some real world experience and real world learning alongside them. So we try to connect you with those type of organizations.
Thank you, Dr. Kickul. And next questions are from our live streaming, asks about because some of them study like finance, economics, this kind of major in China. So they're thinking about how they get into a new field like social entrepreneurship, and what is the alumni advice as you know more about maybe like the bachelor, the majors in China. So what is your advice for this majors audience?
So you want to get started?
Yes, please, Feifei.
Yeah, you can get started.
Well, I guess that if you started or if you have financial or consulting background, as JJ said, that if you are always passionate about social innovation, about social entrepreneurship, MSSE is always the right one for you. But I would say, well, we have a lot of curriculum or class setting to be asset management oriented or financial oriented, which is like we have class like impact investment. We have class so financial analysis as well. You can choose your selectors to orient your curriculum a little bit towards the financial aspect, because I think there is a huge market going on right now in China about ESG investing. So that is already also related with the theme of our program. I believe that in a world which the virtual asset is much bigger than the real asset. The financial asset is tons bigger than the real asset, the real products. So it's very important that we shift a little bit attention to the financial aspect of the whole economy, and ESG is targeting that purpose. So yeah, if you are interested in financial, and you can always relate it to the program, and you can always customize your curriculum towards that goal. Yeah.
Thank you, Feifei. And how about Zoe?
So sorry, I think I might miss a question. So do you mind recap me? What is it about?
Yes, like what is your advice to the background for the bachelor's in economics, finance, and this kind of business-related major students? They want to get into the social entrepreneurship program.
So so that is to say so your background was more focusing on the business side, and when you are trying to enter our program, so what should you pay attention to? Or I actually don't know what the question is about, because social entrepreneurship is about, most of the part is about business. I would say like at least half of the class was like overlap with MBA or like just like regular business classes. When we learn like finance, accounting, and strategy, and the impact investing, something like we calculate these numbers. So I don't say what's the question or what's the problem of those business background students getting to the social entrepreneurship world. So what's the barrier? So what's the problem about?
I want to jump in here too.
Okay.
So, so our degree, and if you take a look at the classes that are required for the program, it kind of is like a generalist degree. And generalist means that you learn about a little bit about everything. So it's not like you're, if you go to, for example, an Master's of Science in Finance, for example, all of your classes are going to be about finance, right? But our program, you take one finance class, you take one accounting class, you take one marketing class, one strategy class, and then a bunch of entrepreneurship classes. So you're learning all these different pieces of being a business leader, being in an organization, right? So if you're looking to become like a finance, if you majored in finance and you want to work in finance in a company, you should look for like an MS finance degree. However, if you want to work in a social enterprise or even a for-profit company that, maybe in their corporate social responsibility or community relation roles, or, I think that, some of the jobs, you could tie in your, finance degree, but I think if you're looking for specifically, exactly. Patagonia Finance Department might also want you, right? So you could possibly work in a finance department at a social organization, but you need to have that passion for working in a social impact related company. So if that's what you have, then our program is the perfect fit for you. And I don't want to say earlier when I said, when we look at the interviews that somebody wants to become a consultant, you can become a consultant for social impact organizations, right? And that's if you say that in your essay, that's great. But if you say, I want to become a consultant for Apple or, these for-profit only companies, then we're going to think that, you probably didn't find the right program. So hopefully that kind of put together everybody's answer together to answer that question for the applicant.
Yes, thank you. And since about the time, here I have the last questions for Dr. Kickul. And the audience learned about Dr. Kickul, you have experience in New York State. And what do you think is the difference between the West and the East, California, the state, and New York State to start up a small business, or the cultural difference in these areas?
Yeah, I used to think they were very different, but now spending quite a bit of time now on the West Coast. Sorry about that. Cats were kind of going strange here. They're the same. I think we have what we're actually seeing here on the West Coast and in LA. Just a really great upstart of social enterprises and innovators, just as we were seeing in New York City. I think you also have to look at what we call the ecosystem. When I came here to LA, it was up and coming, but now we're really seeing a growth spurt in the number of social enterprises, that are starting here in LA. But we're also starting to see organizations who are really deeply caring about how they create an impact for their organizations. And so we're seeing a lot of, traditional Fortune 100, Fortune 500 companies who are really thinking, very deeply about, their CSR efforts, their ESG initiatives. And so those are opportunities that are, that of course I saw in New York, but certainly are happening here right in LA. And so the ecosystem for social innovation is really hot right now. And if you come, you can be a part of this and contribute really to the life being of these organizations. So the opportunity certainly, again, is here and thriving.
Thank you, Dr. Kickul. And close to the end for our information session today, and as our tradition, we would like to invite our guest speakers to give some words to our audience in Zoom, and as well as our audience in the live streaming. And until now, we've got around 7,000 viewers to our session today. Yes, maybe Dr. Kickul first.
I'll just be really brief. Just, we talk about fight on, come here, create impact. The opportunities are here. Really consider us as we open up applications. And I'm happy, I'll drop in if you want to share my email, if anyone has very specific questions. But we look forward to, the next generation of social entrepreneurship leaders and innovators who want to come here. And this is the place to be if you want to do that.
I can go next. My final words to anyone that's thinking about the program, when you're doing your application, you're sharing with us your story of who you are, why why you'd be a good fit for the program, and I encourage you to not be afraid to share with us your story, and share with us what your passions are. And we look forward to seeing your application. So if you want, don't be afraid to try. Don't be afraid to go for it. So that would be my advice to you.
I can go next. I would say, as long as you know what you are looking for, everybody here, everybody in our MSSE program want you successful. So I really want to express my gratitude to Professor Kickul, to JJ, to all the faculty. I really appreciate the support and the guidance along the way. This is a wonderful experience. I really hold gratitude.
Okay. So, take it here from Feifei. I would say my last word should be about do not afraid of reaching out to us, either to Professor Cake, because I just received a WeChat message from Feifei and realized she reached out to me about 2 years ago about an interview or something.
Wow.
And I have no idea who she is at that time, and we build connection, and I just realized, well, it's you. So all of us, we are here, and we are here to support you. So usually when we come to a professor at USC, the first sentence they started is that, how can I help you? So that is our attitude. So should you have any questions, suggestions, or concerns, or you'd like to discuss with us, do not hesitate to contact us. We're really willing to help. And I'm gonna leave my contact information here just in case you need. Okay, good.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Kickul, JJ, and our alumni, Feifei and Zoe again. And thank you for joining us. And you might be ready to submit your application, prepare your application. And for those who need further inquiry about USC, you also can reach out us anytime. And thank you for joining us today. And thank you.
Everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.